The diploma dilemma. The cost of college. Is it worth it? Yes or no? Stay tuned. Hello again, everyone. I'm Eli's dad with Project Eli, where we educate, we lead, and we inspire. And I'm prejudiced towards college education because of my programming. When I grew up, there was no question. My dad was a graduate of Harvard. You're going to college. Everything was planned towards that end. Things have changed a little bit. The knowledge in the world doubles every 2.5 to 3 years, so a lot of the knowledge becomes obsolete, a few years after you get out of college. That's one thing. I preach that from this pulpit. But, the cost of college education has increased over 500 times the rate of inflation since the mid-'80s. Nothing else even comes close. It's more costly than healthcare. Healthcare has increased by around 250 times. And that's a heck of a lot, so you better have that insurance. When I was going to college back in the 70s, it was in my school was not considered to be an inexpensive school. It wasn't super expensive, but it was on the higher end, financially speaking. I believe the cost at that time was around $4,000 a year. And that included the dorm, that included the meal plan, and that included, of course, the education. Fortunately for me, I had a lot of help because I was a basketball player, so I got some money there, and the athletic department got me some jobs, so I was able to do some jobs and work on campus, so on and so forth, and help pay for my college education. But the thing has gone up 500 times since the mid-'80s. I was already way out of school by then. It's a lot of money to go to college. Compare that, like we say with healthcare. You can spend a bunch of money each month and go to the gym and work with shiny equipment and a personal trainer and then have your protein shake. And you can spend a lot of money to do that each month. Or you can go to the Y and use their equipment for much less. It's not as clean. It's not as nice. You don't have all the personal instruction. But I belonged to the Y right after I got out of college. They didn't really have personal gyms like they do now. And I joined the Y and I played basketball and I kept myself in shape for quite a long time, and it cost next to nothing to do it. It kind of got me thinking about how things are done. If I were young today and looking for a sales job, I would focus on a high-end product or service where you really need to be eyeball to eyeball with that person, and not something that can be sold over the internet. I mean, that's what sales has become now. Is you put something on the internet, you get it out there to a zillion people, and just by numbers, if you get even a 1 or 2% return, you're making some good money. Okay, that works. I can understand that. I mean, that's like, the Vegematic on TV. It slices, it dices. You can make mounds of onions without tears. Look at julienne French fries. You look at that, you laugh at that commercial, but you know what? People were buying the Vegematic. Why? Because it was a tremendously large audience. It's a different philosophy. And for my taste, the philosophy in the sales process is the person to person. Tell me about yourself, tell me what your needs are, let me go over the features, advantages, and benefits, and how we can help you to become happily involved with our product or service, and why we're both going to profit from you becoming happily involved. These are the things that I think about. And college education is important. Back in the early 60s, if you had a high school GED, you were able to get a job. After that, requirements became more difficult. You needed a high school diploma to get a job. Then it advanced to, if you want to get a job, you need a college education, and you could pretty much pick out the job that you wanted to get to. What happens today, though? Kids go to college, they spend all this money, And then after college, they're home playing video games with the folks and they're looking in the newspaper for an entry-level position. You know, you got to go to graduate school to be super skilled in order to be recruited for a particular job. You know, and sometimes not even that does the trick. So, you know, my thinking about college education has changed. The cost of it is tremendously high, and everybody does it. I mean, more people have college educations, and the strategy that works, or a strategy that works, so I'm not saying don't do that, okay? I'm not saying don't do that. Some people it's right, for other people it isn't. But a strategy that works is to find and take the reverse commute. All right, what do I mean by that? Well, I was living in San Jose, and I was coaching basketball. I was living in San Jose, and I was coaching in a suburb of the Bay Area called Los Altos. And I would go to coach my basketball practice, you know, in the afternoon, and then after that I would come back and go into the city to, you know, do my work. Most of my work was done at night, my sales job. The thing about it was, I was always in the reverse commute. When I was going out to Los Altos, which during traffic time could be a forever experience, it would take 15 to 20 minutes, hop on the highway, and boom, I'm there. By the same token, coming back from the city to San Jose could also be a lifelong experience. The traffic there is legendary, and I lived, you know, right in between two highways, so it was like always jammed if you came at the wrong time. But I would be coming back at a time when there wasn't the traffic. It was a reverse commute. The traffic was all going in the other direction whenever I was traveling. Do you follow what I'm saying? So if you are able to do something against what the masses are doing, that puts you in a better position to get the job done. That's what I'm talking about here. And in this particular case, not going to college and doing something different may be the answer, because it's so darn expensive. Is the debt that you're going to incur from going to college worth the end result that you're going to achieve in the length of time that you're going to have to use to pay it back? These are all pertinent questions. But there's also the philosophy involved in terms of, you know, once again, I was an education snob. First of all, I wanted to be a school teacher. I trained to be a school teacher. So obviously, I was very much in favor of education. And, you know, that's the answer. You know, get the great education. That's the answer. But I've been led to think, you know, maybe that formal education versus the informal and life education that you can get elsewhere, which one is more valuable? That's really the question in the long run, you know, because you got to be thinking long term. You got to pay back that debt. How long are you in debt? Or people that go to work right out of high school, let's say, you know, they got a leg up. But then you say, well, if they do out of high school, then they can't get the great job. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe, maybe not. And that's what we're going to discuss the very next time that we get together. I have a prejudice for white-collar work. I had an epiphany, and I'm starting to see things from a different paradigm, and I want to share that with you the next time that we get together. And always remember, hey, don't ration the passion, fashion the passion. I'm Eli's dad.